Hello. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I'm in the chair by myself tonight. Medina had a dental procedure done and she is out like a light. She's in bed, laying in bed with the two dogs. So she's asleep right now. I don't suspect she will be getting up anytime during this broadcast. Maybe, but probably not. Um, I was waiting in the parking lot for her all afternoon, and I thought I had all this time to do a bunch of research. But guess what? I had zero internet service or very, very little. It would take me 3 or 4 minutes to get it to download a page. So bear with me. I just put a bunch of stuff together, just went and looked at it, and one actually was surprising to me. So we're going to cover that in a few minutes. But everything's going good. We are preparing to go full time in the RV, and that's exactly what we're doing every day. I've been out working all morning and getting the RV ready, and she had a dental appointment at 3:30 this afternoon. While I was able to get on the news a little bit and look at what I checked in on the Cal City toddlers. Nothing yet. Absolutely nothing on that case. I'm really afraid that if they don't get something developing pretty quick, that thing is going to go cold. And you think, well, surely they'll have enough to get it not go cold. But you look at John Benet Ramsey case, it's what 30. I mean, it's been 20 years or whatever, and there's nothing developed in that case. I mean, I feel like I know who did it, but wasn't enough for the DA's office to feel they could prosecute, even though they had a grand jury indictment. So, and then you look at the Suban Morphew case. I know what I'd like for y'all to do is go over when this broadcast is off or later on tonight. Go over and look at the interview that Lauren Sharp did with the one other reporter. That the reporter was one of the first reporters on the scene of that disappearance, and they kind of just put their heads together and went over some facts of that case. It was very interesting. I got about halfway through it. I'm going to watch the rest of it later on tonight. Excuse me. It is a pretty good interview, and it kind of she shares some things that I hadn't heard before. The other news reporter. One was, I thought that it was kind of interesting that there was no cell service out there where that house was, where Barry and Suzanne lived. Zero. So if you were out riding around with your cell phone, you were not going to be able to get out and get cell service, even if something happened to you, an accident or something. So that was pretty interesting. And so it was just something that I never did realize. If you want to ask a question, you're going to have to put in big capital letters. Plus, you may have to wait because I don't have anybody in here with me that's going to be able to read them. And so I'm just going to actually go through some of the stuff that I looked up today and cover some cases I looked up. And my dogs are walking in and out of the room. We'll cover some missing people that I found out about today, and just one of some old cases and new ones, and talk about some things. And I want to address something at the last of this. A couple of things. One is we got demonetized on our last video. The YouTube said that the video was not suitable for advertising, which I don't know what I did or what I said, but that's just the way it is. They review just about 100% of my videos by watching them. You can get some of them approved right away, but most of the time they'll ask for a review, and it's a 50-50 chance, whatever they feel like we talked about that didn't suit the advertisement, and they'll just demonetize the video. And basically what it means is that I still might make a couple of cents on it, but from your premium members, but I don't make very much. It's pennies on a dollar, put it that way. It's YouTube doesn't pay that much anyway until you get up about 15 or 20, 30,000 subscribers. Then you start to make a little bit of money. But YouTube doesn't pay very much for small guys like us. Just throwing that out there. Also, I'd like to talk about something I'm seeing more on YouTube, and I've talked about this once before, and we will discuss it towards the last part after we discuss our cases. And you may disagree with me. That is your right, and everybody's right. They may disagree with me, but I have seen it more often than not. First little case I want to talk about is something that happened in Eufaula, Alabama today. A jogger was out this morning and they ran up on a car that was halfway submerged in the water. I mean, it was like the windows were above there, real dark tinted windows. And they called it in, and the police discovered 3 bodies in the car dead. Now, they wouldn't have drowned. There's no way, because the water was only halfway up. They had plenty of air in that vehicle to survive, or possibly big air pocket, even if they couldn't get the doors open. However, the sheriff or the police chief has said that this is associated with a crime that happened in Georgia. And the coroner's office is at that house in Georgia right now, too. So what I'm thinking of, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I was thinking maybe they had some type of gun battle over there, and these people were shot and just ran off into the water and died of their wounds or something. That's just a thought. I have no knowledge of this crime over there in Georgia, other than the fact that they've got a vehicle in the water that had it looked like they had plenty of air left in the vehicle, yet there's 3 people dead in it. And also they have some type of crime scene where on the news said that their coroner's office was at the location in Georgia. So it's a real mystery, and I will try to bring y'all up to date as soon as I hear something. Eufaula is actually in South Alabama, just east of Montgomery, southeast of Montgomery. It's the one thing is famous about Eufaula is they have a huge lake down there that is big time in the pro bass fishing tournaments. They go down there and fish. It's been on TV and news and everything. I mean, it's just a beautiful area. It's rural and it's a beautiful area, but they are semi close to the Georgia line. So you can put that together. If we hear anything about it, I'll either probably tell you all about it on tomorrow's broadcast. But I thought it should be brought up. It's just anytime 3 people are dead in a vehicle like that, and you possibly have other killings at wherever they are, I can't see the coroner going out to the scene and in Georgia if there's not somebody already dead there, or they can link this some way or another. It's a pretty serious situation. My father said when he was alive, he told me that back in the 30s and 40s, if you had somebody dead, if anybody heard about it, it would shock the nation. Just maybe 1 or 2 people shot. And now it's like Chicago has like 15, 20 people shot every weekend. All right, we're going to cover one now. I don't know that we've ever covered her before. Brittany Shanna Robinson. She's missing since 2012 from Mobile, Alabama. And I saw this and some people talking about this case. And I thought, you know what? That's right down there where I used to live. Brittany suffers from severe asthma requiring medication she doesn't have with her. She's an African-American female. She was last seen when her aunt dropped her off at her father's home on McCovey Road in Mobile at 9 a.m., June 14, 2012. And what was supposed to be a 2-day visit, she has never been heard from since. Her father, Demetric Hooper left Mobile immediately after her disappearance, and 6 weeks later, a warrant was issued for his arrest. Um, the In September, he was located in a mental health facility in Arkansas. Hooper suffers from schizophrenia and sought treatment there. In the years prior to Brittany's disappearance, he had been hospitalized in Alabama several times for mental illness and drug problems. Brittany wasn't with her father when the police found him in Arkansas, and he was charged with felony custodial interference. Authorities determined he traveled extensively throughout the southeast United States when Brittany vanished. He took a bus from Memphis, Tennessee to Arkansas on July the 7th, 3 weeks after Brittany was last seen, and he wasn't with her. She wasn't with him then. Hooper was carrying Brittany's pink iPod, as well as knives and a rope at the time of his arrest. He denied any involvement in his daughter's disappearance. Hooper has prior arrests for domestic violence, assaults on a police officer, violently resisting police when they arrested him in Arkansas, and his relatives stated that they didn't believe he would have harmed Brittany. In August 2014, he pleaded guilty to custodial interference and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. He was released in December 2016 and after serving only 4 years. Searches of Hooper's home turned up no evidence of Brittany's whereabouts, and she hasn't had any contacts with friends or relatives since she was last seen. She was supposed to begin her freshman class at Murphy High School in the fall of 2012 and signed up for advanced placement courses. Circumstances of the disappearance is unclear. If he was schizophrenic, he could have imagined that she was the devil. She could have imagined anything, and he could have done something to her then. Hello, Melinda. It's good to see you back with us. I hope you're feeling better and your family is doing better. I don't know if he was a veteran. They didn't say that. But, at least he was sane enough to submit himself to a hospital, or that might be a ruse to cover up his tracks. I mean, you would take somebody totally insane to do something to your own blood relative. But, we looked at the Brittany Woods case out of Mobile the same way. Went to see her uncle. The whole family's into incest, threatened to have him arrested. And then boom, she's disappeared and he kills himself. So who knows, But at least they did do a search warrant of the home, and they did not find any evidence of a crime, or at least the disappearance anyway. So that was good. But she had been missing now 2012. That's 9 years. So there's probably not going to do a good outcome. But I'll say this: in Mobile, just about every week, and it's the weirdest thing, just about every week in Mobile, they find remains on Dolphin Island Parkway. They find it. They found them behind schools. I saw just the other day, they found remains buried behind a school. So there's possibility, if she is dead and buried her over in that area, she will be found. But the problem with this is everything west of Mobile, you get into Mississippi, is densely unpopulated, is the best way to say it. It's dense forests. You got a big military complex over there. You have a shipyard. There's hardly anything over there, I don't know why the facility let him go unless, it's weird though. Right now, if you get arrested in Florida or you get arrested in other places, they have that law. I can't think of Florida's name over there, the name of the law, where they can hold you like 24 hours for observation, basically. And if you don't have the money to be confined to, if you don't have the money to be confined permanently, it's a Baker Act. That's what I'm thinking about. A Baker Act in Florida. They can put you in jail for 24, put you in confinement mental health place for 24 hours. But if you don't have the money to stay, or you don't have insurance, or if you don't present a clear and present danger, I'll use the old John Grisham's thing, that you don't possess the clear and present danger, there's a good chance they're going to let you go. I know someone that was very suicidal, and they evaluated her, kept her 24 hours, but because she didn't have insurance, they let her go. Now, you would think why, but she didn't present a danger to anyone else. It's bad enough that you want to hurt yourself. So, yeah, yeah, it is. You can be committed for a very, very, very short time. 24 hours to a week. But if you don't have the money to be there, you're let loose, unless you are talking about killing a lot of folks, or killing, talking about homicidal type thoughts, or something where they can hold you and take you before a judge, and a judge can order you to be committed in a state mental hospital. He can, if you were to go out and say you were going to shoot or kill a bunch of people, and you were not generalized, just saying that, but if they could take you in there and say, well, judge, he's talking about killing all these people, and he's got these guns we've seized from him already, and he's got a past criminal violent thing. He fought the police every time he did. We really believe that he is a danger to himself and other people. Then the judge can have him committed to a state mental hospital for an indefinite period of time. But, we know ourselves that I've seen people get committed just because they don't want to go to jail. And they will actually basically talk themselves into getting released later on. So, committed back in the day, but she's always. Brittany, what state were you in? It matters about what state you're in. Yeah, I don't know, Melinda. Brittany, in Alabama, we don't have what they call a Baker Act. I know for a fact, Arkansas, okay. I know for a fact that in Alabama, you have to volunteer to be committed unless you take your case before you say you're, all right, just say Medina thought that I was gone nuts, and she could go before a probate court, and if she could convince a judge that I was a danger to myself or other people, she could have me committed for a while, 72 hours, I think it is. So, but in that period of time, if the mental health people that evaluate you feel that no, he's just depressed, or he's gotten some anxiety issues, or he's not really a danger to himself or other people, we can't hold him, then you get let go. And I've seen it done where, states have different laws. I love Florida's law of the Baker Act. Police officers can make that assumption right on the scene. They have a guy that thinks he's Batman, or thinks he's something, he's doing something crazy. Not just, listen, I've talked to people that they're nuts. There is no doubt in my mind that they are a Fruit Loop. And I'm not making fun of their mental illness, but these guys wear tinfoil on their head. And this is their life day after day. They will not go seek counseling. They will not try to go to a mental health institution. They just don't believe nothing's wrong with them, but they are insane for all practical purposes. They're not harmful, though. They never try to hurt themselves, never try to hurt anybody else. They just really believe that wearing tinfoil on your head is going to protect them from some type of cosmic rays coming down from the atmosphere. Those type of people, not even, I mean, police officer is not going to have, if Alabama had the Baker Act, police officers not going to institute that because they know even when they take them in, they're going to say, look, we believe he is not right in the head, but he's not a danger to anybody. And unfortunately, these big homeless encampments, they say that over 90% of the people that are homeless have a mental illness. 90%. But you just can't go down there and start locking people up, because it really, to take somebody and put them into a mental institution without their consent is a huge thing. It's a Fourth Amendment thing protected by the Constitution. If you are not a danger to yourself or somebody else, the government has no right to restrict your freedom unless you committed a crime. And that's where we're at. Where was this at, Melinda? The elementary school kid that fired a gun in school? I didn't hear about it. Florida? I did not hear about that. I hate to think we have to start having metal detectors and school bag searches coming into school now for your kids, but you know what? It may be coming to that. Oh. I did not hear about that. Okay, let's see here. This is one I thought we need to get on out there. This is April the 23rd. It was published. Blackfeet law enforcement. This is a Native American child attempting to locate Arden Pepion, 3 years old, who was last seen at 7 p.m. on Thursday in surrounding areas of Joe Show East Road in Browning. I don't know why she was out there by herself, wearing a purple jacket with a unicorn design on the front, gray sweater, black leggings, black boots, green trim. According to Blackfeet law enforcement Facebook page, she weighs 30 pounds, 3 foot tall, has brown eyes and brown hair. Now listen to this. Now I know you and me can't believe this kid was out there by herself, and I'm going to tell you, this is prime human trafficking for this girl. She's just absolutely cute as can be, and we talked about this when the Indian population, the Native American Indian population, is involved in missing person. Chance of them finding them are very slim because law enforcement is spread out so much. So I really fear for this little girl's safety. Very, very fearful of her safety. This is out of Valrica, Florida. Missing since 1997. She'd be 21 now. So she was taken when she's you can see the picture up in the left-hand top. That was her as a baby. Shown age progression to 18. She'd been missing from her residence during the early morning hours in 1997. Her yellow blanket was also missing. So this child, and you see a very beautiful girl right now, what they believe she would be, but possibility, if it's not some type of parental abduction, that it is a human trafficking or someone just stole the baby to traffic the child. This is another one I came upon. Jennifer Persons goes by Jenna, 21 years old, 5'8", 140 pounds, light brown hair, curly on top and the sides, back shave, 2 piercings at each earlobe, blue eyes, crescent moon tattoo on her wrist. Last known location was there in Lewis Center, Ohio. I read where this girl actually, their fear that she may be suicidal because they found an empty gun case at her, either in her car or at her last place of residence. That's at least what I read. Now, y'all have any questions about anything before I go on to this next one? The other one is, this is kind of a unique situation, and the life that this person lives probably determined an un a bad outcome for this missing person. We don't know yet. They are missing, but you'll see that the lifestyle, and I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent to that lifestyle, but the lifestyle it's that this person lived has a direct bearing on a bad outcome for a missing person. You'll see in just a minute. Okay, Kimberly Avella, missing from Brownsville since 2017. Went missing in downtown area of Brownsville, Texas, May of 2017. No communication with her since. This is another picture. 2018 anonymous tip came in, Brownsville Crime Stoppers, that the family is asking for the person to please call back. The family is hoping that someone will come forward with the information that gives Crime Stoppers the anonymous tip. You have a reason to call that day. You have a reason to call and give us information that you gave, or think that you might have missed something, and you think there's something that you maybe didn't say. Kimberly's brother told the Monitor, I'm begging you to call back. Family members and Crime Stoppers are both pronounced that describe Kimberly as shown below, has chosen to use her, she pronouns as how her community knew her. We feel that it's likely how she herself would want to be known. Brownsville police said the investigating the disappearance of Ramora Avil, I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry, who uses the name Kimberly, was last seen by family members on May the 13th, 2017, approximately 2:30 a.m. That's the missing person poster. This is actually the person. She is our transgender. Family members gave Avella a ride to 1200 block of East Washington Street and have not seen or heard from Avella since then. Family advised that Avella is transgender, was last seen wearing black wig, black shorts, sleevey dress, blouse, and a black shirt and high heel shoes. Now, says anyone that have mentioned any person that has information whereabouts of Ramona Rowe Avella Jr. Kimberly is asked to contact Brownsville Police Department, Brownsville Crime Stoppers. All calls remain anonymous. Now, the reason I say that is because the lifestyle they lead is almost always into the gay community. And just think, now this person fixes himself up to look like a very attractive female. So let's just say this person was with a male that does not know that he is a she is a he, and they get into kissing, hugging, and then more so maybe something else, and then discovers it, that's when murders happen. That's when a lot of bad stuff happens. So that in itself, if they don't preclude themselves with that gay uh, community and they stray outside into the heterosexual community, that's when bad things can happen. You remember the show, Phil? It was on Dr. Phil, where I think it was on Dr. Phil, where they had the two guys up there. It may have been on one of the other shows. I just remember seeing something on the news about it, where this guy confesses his love for another guy on national TV. Well, of course, this guy was trying to act halfway sane about it. And so when he left, he went home, got a gun, and went over to kill the guy. So a lot of bad stuff can happen, very bad. Melinda, you asked about Medina. She went to have some dental work done today on the very back tooth here, and they had to kind of knock her out. And because they had to separate her jaw so much because of the way it was back in there, so she's asleep. She was they gave her all kind of nitric oxide plus something else. She actually went to sleep while they did it, so she is asleep in bed. She probably will not get up. She probably will not get up the rest of the night, but that's where she's at. But yeah, I mean, these guys, I mean, you go back to this first time I saw it, you know, I thought that's a girl. I mean, if she, or he, or whatever were to come up to me into a parking lot talking to me as a girl, there wouldn't be no question in my mind that's a girl. So you understand where the danger comes in. The girl, say she's in transgender males in a bar, and some guy makes an advance towards her. I mean, you look at this picture too, makes an advance towards her. They get into conversation and maybe just kissing. That would maybe drive some guys off the total edge if they found out they were kissing a guy, and bad things would happen. I'm telling you, I know that sort of thing would, if the guy is purely heterosexual and not bisexual, homosexual, that's when that bad things can happen. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying that he doesn't have the right to do this. I'm just saying I have seen people put themselves in those situations. And I mean, just like the guy on TV, and I've seen other people too, where these people will get beat up somewhere, and they say, well, I don't understand why he attacked me. Well, because he didn't find out that you were not really a female, and then this guy's totally heterosexual, and they can't handle it. They cannot handle it, especially if they're exposed with their friends. It would be bad. And so you just can't. You have to say that. I think if I was working this case, that would be where I would lean towards looking at. Did this person meet up with somebody that thought that he was a female? And where did it go from there? But anyway, that's my opinion. I can be wrong, but I think looking at it from a law enforcement aspect of it, I think that that's probably what happened, unless, there's possibility of a number of things could have happened, but that would be one that I would look at. This girl right here, Jolene Cummins, is missing from Florida after leaving a hair salon. I think they did charge somebody in this case, though. April the 6th, 2019, documents revealed DNA analysis found blood of Jolene Cummings on a sock and boot belonging to Kimberly Kessler. The sock and boots were found in a storage unit rented by Kessler. See, now that was just stupid. On September the 2018, Kimberly Kessler had been charged with first-degree murder, Sheriff Bill Lipper said, and Jolene Cummings remains missing. July 11th, 2018, the FBI searching for remains of Colleen Cummings after a video shows a co-worker, Kimberly Kessler, putting a white trash bag into a dumpster. Kessler had been charged with Cummings' disappearance, according to this WJXT. I should have probably read this backwards, but 50-year-old Jennifer Seibert was arrested Thursday morning in consideration of the suspect in Cummings' disappearance. Seibert, whose real name is Kimberly Kessler, is charged with car theft and being held on $500,000 bond. Last person to see Jolene. But the main thing this is she is still missing. So, if anybody knows where she's at or knows where possibly she's buried. She was 34, went missing from Yules, Florida. She was last seen on May the 12th, 2018, leaving a job at Tangler's Hair Salon on State Road 200. She was due to pick up her children on Mother's Day, but she did not show up. Her car was found May 15th in a Home Depot parking lot. Authorities have stated 5 days before her disappearance that deputies showed at her home of a domestic dispute between her and her ex-boyfriend, Jason Gee. Since then, Gee has been arrested for unrelated charges. Let's see. Right here's another picture of her. Anna Jones' mother posted, "Call the tip lines for information. Call 911 only for emergencies. Please share this post. I won't need my daughter return home safely, and you can help. Her 3 children are anxious to have her reunited with her mother." Jolene Cummings turned 34 May the 13th, was last seen on May the 12th around 5 p.m. She left her job at Tango's Hair Salon next to Dick's Wings. Her vehicle was found in the parking lot of Home Depot, as we talked about there. So I don't know all the details of this or why this girl felt like she was going to steal the vehicle and kill her, but they never did go into it. And that's the problem with a lot of these cases like that, when you just don't know anything, you just don't know anything about it. Did anybody have any questions or statements about anything before I go on? Okay. This is a missing person at Cedar Park Police Department investigating a suspicious circumstances surrounding a missing person. The investigation occurred on Cypress Lane, located 30 minutes from downtown Austin, Texas. Family member who has not seen or heard from Amanda Manny Gordon, 30 years old, several days, called the police on a welfare concern on December the 19th. Several of us on this street heard what sounded like gunshots at 1:30 in the morning. Heavy police presence before and after the noise. Looks like SWAT and a big mobile command post was on the scene. Samuel Bird, 32, was at the home with his 2 children. The police state that it was not cooperative, and basically the SWAT team had to go in there and get the kids out. So I don't know if the kids are related to this girl coming missing or not. There's not much information on this. This is the guy they had to get out of the house. Last night, that just reminds me, last night, I got up and walked through the house there. I think I'd let the dogs out or something, and I noticed that there was some blue lights going up the road, and we're kind of semi-rural. And I looked out the window, and they had the police were up the road. I couldn't see what was going on. It was about 100 yards up the road. They had an ambulance up there, and they were blocking the road, I know, for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm wondering, even now, maybe I haven't heard anything on the news, so I might not ever know. If I was still working, of course, I would know it, but I don't know now. So you kind of wonder what's going on. I don't think it was anything major, but could be. Want to go into this here. This is Patrick Patty Meehan, 37, last seen in 1989. You know, I know you look at something like this and you think they'll never find her, but you remember those kids are living behind that house. Some of them even had kids of their captors for years. I think one of them was even 20 years. She was living on a ranch, Bozeman, Montana. That's a beautiful area. When she got into a car accident on a stretch of highway in Circle, Montana, because she was driving on the wrong side of the road. Well, I wonder if she was intoxicated. I don't know. Witnesses and Peggy Buller and her father pulled over to assist the female, Carol Hines, who was hit by Patty. Patty left to find a phone and call the police. The witnesses stated they saw Patty get out of the car by climbing out the window. They stated she appeared as though she was staring off into space like she was in a trance. Then suddenly she walked towards a fence and climbed it. After dropping to the other side, she just stood there motionless for a bit, looking at the accident, and eventually wandered off. Now, she could have had a head injury, or she could have been intoxicated and had a head injury. It's just, unknown. Authorities stated it's possible Patty had amnesia. Yes. During the investigation, tennis shoe tracks were found about 3/4 of a mile from the crash. Because of the size of the tracks, they were believed to be Patty's. The tracks followed until they disappeared in the terrain. The spokesman for the newspaper that was reporting this said during the early sightings, she reportedly asked a truck driver the way to Washington and apparently had been hitching rides and seen in 2 truck stops, fast food restaurants on the I-90 corridor. Tom Meehan, Patty's father, told Spokane Chronicle that the photographs of Patty have been reported, 3 of which confirmed by police. Said, I cannot find any definite information on which ones. There are also countless comments from people visiting website, blogs, and forums, articles about the disappearance saying that she has been seen, but no one has gotten a picture. Patty's 5'3". At the time of her disappearance, weighed 100 to 105 pounds, strawberry blonde hair down to her shoulders with green eyes. She could be living somewhere under some other name and not know who she is. I mean, people go years and years and years and not even know who she is, I've seen people that have been, haven't you ever been over and hit your head on something, you kind of went cuckoo, like you didn't, kind of wobbly for a couple of seconds? Imagine that if it's years, just absolutely forget who you are. Don't remember where you're from, your name, or anything. I've heard of it. I don't know. I've never seen anybody like that, but I've heard of it. I want to address something tonight that I continue to see almost daily on the internet. And I've spoke to my friends about it, and a lot of them are just, no, that's not true. That stuff doesn't happen. But it's very true. If you have, and I know, listen, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your life, but I'm going to tell you what's out there. If you have baby pictures on your Facebook page or on your Instagram page of your child naked in the bathtub or walking around the house or anything like that, just be aware that there is a high probability that your pictures are being stolen and used by pedophiles. They get off on that kind of thing. They use these pictures for their perverted mindset. And I'm not saying they're going to come to your house and, thank you, Maddie. I appreciate it. I'm not saying they're going to come to your house and take your child. I'm simply saying they will use these pictures to get themselves off and to share pictures with other pedophiles out here. And it doesn't have to, I mean, when me and you look at a child, like, we're guilty of it until I started working crimes against children. And then we went off and we took every picture we ever had of our kids off, any type of kids, off the internet, because I remember we had this picture of Mindy, my daughter, in the bathtub, and she had her hair. Dina had taken her hair wet with soap on it and put it straight up in the air, so it looked like a horn on her head. It was cute as pie, when she's sitting there. She's naked in the bathtub. I'm telling you, these perverts, they will use your pictures of your children in their perversional mindset and lifestyle. So if you got them on there and you got your kids on there, and I know a lot of times you share them with your relatives, but if you want to share them, what I would suggest that if you want to send it to them with a encrypted, or send it with a message, like where they can't download that, or they don't, not but a certain person sees it, because these people are so perverted in their mindset that they will take that picture and use it for their own perversion. And I've mentioned this before. Another thing that Facebook, I saw the other day on Facebook, and I couldn't, I've mentioned this 100 times before, where it says about yourself on Facebook, on your birthday, leave your year only for you to see, or put it something. Dina puts it to 104 or something, like where it makes her 104. If you put your whole birth date on there, and I say probably 70% of people that I look at have their whole birth date in the about column. If you go up there and hit about, go down there, it says their whole birthday, because everybody likes to say happy birthday to somebody, but you can say that like your month and your day. But if you put your entire birthday on there, that is one step closer for identity theft, and a lot of people will use that year of your birth in some type of password situation, Yeah, there are too many sickos out there on the web, and I just don't want to give them the vision of a child that that you love and cherish so much, having their picture up on the internet. And they will share that. They will share it on the dark web. They will share it between themselves. And it's just not worth it. And I've told my friends about this, and some of them have really got kind of angry about it and say, oh, I'm just showing it to my grandfather. Well, if you post it on Facebook, everybody on the web can look at it. And what I did on my personal Facebook page, if you were to find my personal Facebook page, you would see my header. You would not only have my picture on there, it just has a header up there. It has in the round spot, it has just a picture, not of me. And then everything else would almost be blocked, because I'm so restrictive of my Facebook page. The FBI calls Facebook Fedbook. And the reason why is because in 9 times out of 10, if they want to find out something about somebody, they go over and they look them up on Facebook. They can find out. People do not put they don't restrict all of that information. But you can't. I don't friend anybody on Facebook unless I know you. If I don't know you, you're not going to be friended by me because I just can't. Not even if you feel the same way I do about policing, about anything political or anything. If I don't know you, you're not going to become my friend on my personal Facebook page. It's just not going to happen. And then, two, if I can't go to your Facebook page and find that you are somebody I know, because a lot of times people will just come and if you, I know all of you get these Facebook friends, and guys get more than girls do, I think. They'll get these Facebook requests from young girls all over the world. And if you go over to their friends, they're all guys and their friends. And I just delete them because 9 times out of 10, they're all fake accounts. And when you have, you notice when you got some of your friends will even try to friend you again, their account's been hacked. I try to get a password that's really, really difficult to remember or for somebody to remember and it's not obvious. But don't put your birth date in there. At least mine says a different date. I think it's 1901, but it says nobody can see my year. I have it blocked. And just my month and date's the only thing on there. But if you came to my personal Facebook page, you'd say, man, this guy ain't putting nothing on there. But what it is, everything's blocked to anybody that's not my friend, not my friend's friend. Because the problem with this is this. I've got a friend that was in the drug life years ago where I worked. She has got tons of friends that I've arrested. Now, I will not let them see any of my stuff. I'll let her see it, but not her friends, because I don't want some of these yahoos that I put in jail many, many times knowing anything about me or my family. It's just, I'll quit Facebook if it ever gets to that point. But, it's just what it is. I think too much stuff's on Facebook about you personally. And what I do is I restrict so much stuff. I go up to the privacy tab and if you're not my friend, you can't see nothing on my Facebook. It's very sparse. But just, it's to protect you and your family, exactly. And it's like Melinda said, it's to protect because you don't know what is out there, And it's just like our page, our RV page, because we are going to be traveling to different cities and we are going to occasionally be close to people that are subscribing to us or whatever. We are actually going to be a little bit ahead of our videos, maybe a month even, and some people don't like that, but it's for, if nothing else, it's for protection. Now, if we see y'all here and we know where you live and we know we're going to be close to you, we'll send you a private message and say, hey, if you're going to be over here, why don't we let you come meet us for coffee or something like that? Or if we should get enough subscribers, we can have a meetup. That would be great too. But I'm always thinking about safety and about protection from people that want to do you harm. And I'm not, somebody asked me, are you afraid? No, I'm not afraid. And I don't fear anybody, but you've got to, you got to be careful. Okay, Melinda, tell your daddy that I think about him all the time with him, think about him and all he's done in his life, man. What a guy. I would just probably be engrossed and listen to him, Yeah, you got to take precautions. You do. And I remember right after I retired. I had been retired like 2 or 3 years, and, when are we coming to California? We're actually coming that way probably, um I'm not sure it'll be this year, probably the first of next year. The reason why this year, I don't know, it could be, but the first place we're going is up to Milwaukee and dropping off a whole bunch of stuff that belongs to my daughter. Then we're going to the top of the Wisconsin, cutting back down through Michigan and seeing my wife's stepbrother. And then we're going to be in Indiana on the end of June to get some solar put up on my top of the RV and batteries in it so we don't have to have power all the time. And then from there, I'm not 100% sure where we're going. We will see. But about 2 or 3 years after I retired, I called somebody to do some detailing on a car I had. And Chris McDowell is covering Bundy. He said he'd been, yeah. Oh, I would love to interview your dad. In fact, interviewing, I'd love to have him come on and just tell us what's in the mindset of somebody like that. That would be probably make my whole year if I could do that, Melinda. Um, for sure, absolutely. But I ran into somebody 2 or 3 years after I retired that, um, yeah, it would be great, Melinda. I would love it. That I ended up having to tell to escort off my property, and he remembered something that I arrested his brother or something. So you just got to be careful. That's why so many cops, when they retire, carry guns all the time. You just never know where you're going to run into somebody that you've dealt with before. Absolutely. Mm, yep, absolutely. None of us are perfect. Did y'all see where Pfizer came out today in the news that they are working on a pill that will stop COVID in its tracks? A pill that if you take it, what it does is it's the same type of medicine that is used to treat AIDS now, or HIV, not AIDS. But what it does, it keeps the virus from replicating. Once you take the pill, it stops it dead in its tracks. I mean, it's not going to replicate anymore in the body. And um, if they can do that, that will, they won't even have to give vaccines anymore. They'll just, if you start, but it has to be taken immediately after you get diagnosed. If you get tested and you have it, you take it, and that's it. You don't go to the hospital or anything. You don't. It basically makes it go away. So I know they'll probably continue to. You'll have to get booster shots and all these other shots if you take the vaccine or whatever. So, but this is a big thing. This is a real big thing, and it could, because I mean, I don't know how long they're planning on doing boosters and everything and vaccines. And a lot of people are scared to take the vaccine. I was going to take J&J vaccine, but now all this other kind of stuff. And now they found a couple of men that's had the blood clot. So, I don't know. And I'm not worried about doing the other vaccine, but just there's a lot of issues. I had a friend of mine take the Moderna vaccine and she had a horrible reaction, but her husband didn't. So I don't know. Yeah, I worked undercover for 5 years in narcotics, 2 different towns. And I absolutely love working undercover. It was great. But you really need to watch about getting exposed. Yes, you very do. And the one town that I worked on undercover, it was a population of about 250,000, 300,000 metro. So I could actually be on a drug raid in the south end of town. And when I went home up to the northwest end of town where I normally worked undercover, I could work up there and never be exposed because there was so much distance and different type of people I was working down there that I was working up the Northwest end. So oh, Jennifer Rotten, I hate to hear that. Does he have COVID? Hmm. I hate to hear that, Jennifer. We sure be praying for him. I tell you what, he does have COVID. Yeah. How old is he? Can I ask that? Or did he have any pre-existing conditions when he went in? I had our cousin, had that. Well, that'd be great, Linda. That'd be great. I would just enjoy talking to him. Period. Uh, Absolutely, Jennifer. We'll be sure praying for him. 55 years old. Wow. Um, did he have any pre-existing type things going on that got to him, or did he develop pneumonia or anything? That's bad. But you know what? We serve a God that's in control. We can y'all just remember to keep her in your prayers that he'll come out of this. Ralph, he was in real bad shape. He had all kinds of stuff. He's still not completely back, but you know, he's not. He's got a bad kidney issues and stuff like that right now. But uh, yeah, that. Sorry to hear about that. Sure am. It affects people different. My doctor said she thinks I had COVID not this past March, but the March before, and I was pretty sick for 2 weeks, but I got over it. You know, I'll be sure to tell Medina about that too, Jennifer. Sure will. Don't please don't get offended when I tell you about these stuff on with the kids putting their kid pictures on Facebook, because I did offend mistakenly somebody by that last time. I'm not saying that you're using poor judgment. I'm just telling you what's out there. You can make your own judgment. You know, uh, you know, people are just there's sickos out there. I could tell you things right now that there are several websites that are free right now, that anybody can go to. There's all kinds of pornographic, X-rated stuff that any kid, all they got to do is click that they're over 18 or over 21, and they can look at it, and it's got more stuff, pornographic stuff on it than you could probably see on one of these X-rated channels that you pay for. And you know, I just it's sick. It's very sick. It's demeaning to women. Uh, you know, Porn is probably one of the most biggest demeaning to women out there. It's very addicted. People get addicted to porn. Kids get addicted to porn. And so that's why I say keep your kids thumb on your kids on the internet, because I'm telling you there is a place just like YouTube, but it's all porn, and they don't have to pay for it a bit. All they have to do is click that they're over 18. That's it. So you think your 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, 14-year-old boy is going to, uh, are they going to be thinking, I'm not that old. I won't click that. They're going to click it because they know once they click it, they don't pay anything. They can watch anything they want to. And it's sickening, some of the stuff there, because we ran into it working these child cases, child uh, crime cases, and a lot of these people said that they went there and that's how they got mindset. They get addicted to porn because it's free for them. Yeah, it shouldn't be a beach bum, but sometimes they do. What happens is they think that I'm trying to tell them that they're being bad parents, and it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, look, these guys out here are sickos, and they will use your pictures, you know. And I'm gonna tell you, this is the weird little thing we did when we worked these child predator cases. We posed as like 13. I posed as a 13-year-old girl. The picture I used was a young 18-year-old girl out of Russia. She looked very young. So I mean, it wasn't like, well, it possibility could be 20 something. No. This girl looked very young. But when they got me on the stand, they asked me, where did you get the picture of the girl you used? And I said, from Russia. And they said, what website? I said, I don't remember because I didn't. But now what they do is this. They go to the officers that work, female officers within the department, and they get a picture of them when they were about 12, 13 years old. And of course, they sign off on letting them do it. And then they use that picture. But I don't even like that, to be honest with you. Hmm. So, Melinda, are you over COVID now, or is it still kind of staying with you? I know I've heard people say that it kind of stays with you after a while. It doesn't completely go away. And do they recommend you getting the shot now, even after the vaccine, even after having it? Yeah, yeah, strains. And you know what's weird though? They said the people that are having the reaction to these shots are the ones that have the higher immune system. Wow. Hmm. But now I had a little doctor's appointment at UAB in Huntsville the other day. It was just a routine thing. I went in and they test your head every time with a meter on the head to see if your temperature. And they'll ask you, do you have this? And it's about 15 or 20 things. And I told him the one was muscle aches. I said, lady, I said, I've been working outside the last 4 or 5 days. Every part of my body hurts right now. She just starts laughing. I said, I have muscle aches. I'm 65 years old. I live with muscle aches every day. And she just starts laughing. She said, oh, go ahead. But, they ask you if you've had diarrhea and stuffy nose. Well, I got sinuses. I always have a stuffy nose. They'll ask you if you've had muscle pains, if you've had fever, if you've had trouble breathing, if you have coughs. It's about 30 things that you possibly could have. So I don't know. Tested positive 4 weeks after you had COVID. Yeah, I heard that there is several weeks. I tell you, when I had the type A flu, A and B, they said I had them both at the same time. That I asked them, did I have COVID? No, you don't have COVID. But I tell you what, 2 weeks after that, I had something. Yeah, I saw that whole thing on Bundy about him talking about he was trying to keep himself alive those last few weeks. He was saying he could tell them where all kinds of bodies are and trying to say he'd like to keep people from doing it again. So, Melinda, did your mom get the vaccine and then had diabetes, or how did that work? Mandy, I didn't know that you'd had it a year ago. I believe I had it a year ago, but I don't know of anything it did to me. My intentions are to get the vaccine, but I'm not too sure which one yet. And to be honest with you, I haven't had a chance to get one other than at Walmart, and I'm not real thrilled about Walmart people sticking me in the arm. Um, there's a problem. They don't give it around here. It's not like we can just call in and get it. You can't get it like that. Some people have to wait in line 5 6 hours. I'm just going to wait until it's more readily available. I'm type O blood and in fairly good health, so I don't know. They had this thing on the internet where you could go and punch in all of your illnesses, your weight, and all that, and they'll tell you your chances of dying from COVID. And mine was 1.6% chance of dying. They also said at my current health, the longevity of what year that you have a chance of dying, I was 91. And my dad died at 91. So I'll take that right now. Sign up right now. But yeah, pollen is so crazy where we live right now. It's pathetic. But Medina will be back with me tomorrow night. She is, like I said, asleep from having dental work. So she can tell you about that tomorrow. She was kind of loopy when I picked her up. Yeah, I think I had it in March of 2020 is when I had it. Hey, I don't have problems with people getting the shot, getting the vaccine. I mean, that's my intention is to do that. But I've got to see too what's going on with it. There's a lot of stuff happening with it now. Um, Nothing wrong with it. I will. I probably will not wake her up tonight, or even I'm gonna let her sleep. And probably here we've been here an hour and 15 minutes. Um, I plan on going in there and fixing me something to eat, and then we probably go to bed early. I got to get up early in the morning. Well, Maddie, we'll just have to pray that don't affect you, cancer. Yeah, the vaccine's a personal choice. I 100% agree with you. My father-in-law's had it. All my brother-in-laws have had it, and one of their wives have had it, but the vaccine. And so don't, it's just a personal thing. Personal thing. Listen, we'll pray. Y'all pray for everybody that's sick and their husband's sick. Jennifer wasn't that Jennifer's husband is sick, and come back tomorrow. We really love you, and please come back tomorrow and share our videos if you don't mind. Check out our RV videos too. Once we start traveling, it's going to be fun. I'm telling you what, it's going to be fun, and ain't no telling what we're going to be doing. And you'll see a little bit truly how we live on the road with 2 dogs and a cat. The cat's going to be interesting. The cat's never rode an RV before, so it's going to be interesting. But anyway, y'all come back tomorrow, and we'll hope to see you. Hope to see you on here tomorrow. We love you, and y'all come back and see us tomorrow. Good night.
Get over here. Get right there. Sit. Sit. Maggie, look at me. You see this? Center.